with the cameras on me.
I'm just living the dream. I'm in love with the lights. This is not just a game.
Here's my life.
Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah. Put the cameras on me, yeah, yeah.
Hello, everybody. Live from a steamy hot day in Koreatown, Los Angeles, California. It is the Ozone back at y'all. And I'm back, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. And it's all. Shout out to the 80s hip hop. New York City in the house, homeboy. Ice-T might make an appearance. It might be a cop killer, cuz. So, we got a lot to cover. Lee said we're going to be better for you. And we're here. And it is real. Here with my brother, Terry Miller, also known online as the Icons with a Z. How you feeling?
Great. It's hot outside.
It's so
Loosening
nice.
up the joints.
Oh, my goodness. And my joint's been so tight.
Pass the joint.
Hey, man, give me that joint. Wait, play that other joint, man. Run it back. Oh, yeah, play that Ozone joint. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice,
Love. So, we got a lot to cover. A lot of fights been going down. We got a couple fights coming up. And want to jump into that. We also want to talk about Major League Baseball. Wow, how have things changed in a matter of a week? Things are turning around for a lot of teams and not necessarily for the better, primarily for the Los Angeles Dodgers. But I actually want to start with something we don't cover much, which is the NBA. You know, normally we don't do a lot of talking about the NBA playoffs until you're deeper into the playoffs because it's almost predetermined who's going to do what, so it feels like. I know you guys are feeling me. You can act like you're not, but I know you guys know how it works.
You feel me?
When I tell you that it is rigged, they play a lot.
They play.
So, but I just wanted to have a quick conversation about LeBron James.
About the king. How did I know?
I'm overwhelmed.
I've been speaking on it for years. I'm sorry.
I'm overwhelmed.
I'm sorry.
I've never, never
Ever seen anything
seen a guy do everything for the team.
Right. And he's not the MVP.
Come on, man.
You play with yourself.
I mean, it's masturbatory. The only thing that he doesn't do
is write the checks?
Is no, he does that too, actually. Ask Tristan Thompson and J.R. Smith.
Yeah, right.
The only thing that he doesn't do and it's not even a knock. I have no knocks on LeBron James. Is like we saw at the end of game 1, which they won against the Raptors. You know, he had a situation where he could have laid up and he kicked out.
That rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah,
he kicked out. It almost cost him the game.
It almost cost him the game.
It almost
you. And this is the only knock you can have on the guy.
But it's the way you play nowadays.
That's not how you play nowadays. That's not how you play.
People drive to the rack and kick out all the time.
Well, people, thing is
that's a little too cute.
That's what I feel like. I feel like in our day of the dominant superstar of the point
and explode on you. He already exploded though. He had 40 points. I mean,
no, but at the same time, you know what I mean. There,
close the game out.
Close the game.
You got to
close the show, and it's on
Mariano.
you. It's not on Kyle Korver to close the game.
No.
It's actually on you to close that game out.
It almost cost him.
It was very close to cost him. It's the only knock. But I mean, we got plenty of cover with him because honestly,
that teardrop jumper.
Oh,
that thing it's still up in the air.
It just went down through the net and came back around.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. This performance, and I don't even just mean that. Let's go back from game 7. Let's go back about 5 days.
Way back.
Game 7 to against the Pacers. They stretched him out. I mean, DC Sly called in last week and said that he felt like the Pacers were actually just a better team than the Cavs, and that the determining factor was LeBron James, but he felt like the Pacers, now he's a homer, but he felt like the Pacers were going to be able to overcome because they were a better team. LeBron James is this great gif that's on the internet where LeBron James is like, nope, I'm not going out. I'm playing the whole game. The whole game. And he played the whole game in game 7. He got the job done. Once again, his numbers, I mean, they're pornographic. Don't even.
Perverted.
They're just
perverted justice.
It is Donald Trump. The LeBron James Game 7 numbers are so far over the top. Like it's absurd. You can argue that LeBron James is the greatest Game 7 basketball player ever, I think, at this point.
You don't even have to ask me. You know my feelings.
I don't need to, I mean, you announce it. You announce it a little prematurely, but it's still, it's accurate now. It wasn't necessarily the truth before.
The numbers said so.
The numbers are not lying when it comes to King James.
Are not lying.
And he's about to take a bunch of ragtag fugitives to the Eastern Conference Finals.
By himself again.
But you know what the thing about
all he needs is a little help.
This is where I was going to say is that what they keep showing is if the guys will give him any help at all,
they'll win, even if it's by half a point.
He'll get it. He's like he can get it done. And I feel hate to gush, but I feel like he still doesn't get the credit that he.
Come on, man. He doesn't get the credit, the calls. He doesn't get anything. He's not respected.
I got into it online
as a superstar.
I got into it online with some people about that. I got into it online with some people.
There's no way
who were trying to say that LeBron James actually gets calls.
I know. I listen to people talk about he's crying all the time. Guess what? When you have 3 people draped on you all the time, you're getting fouled.
Other than Shaquille O'Neal, I've never seen a superstar, and Shaquille O'Neal is the complete asterisk in the situation because Shaq's situation was outrageous. Like and
that was just a size thing.
And LeBron's has a lot to do with size.
I think that LeBron has a lot to do with athletics because he's a better athlete than actually Shaq was. Shaq was sitting in the key; they couldn't stop him.
You know what? That's an interesting debate here. I don't know if I can say LeBron James was a better athlete than Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal is 7'2". 400 pounds and moved like LeBron James, low key.
No,
man, you're crazy.
Are you high?
No. Are you smoking freebase? No, you need to. You
on that Molly again?
You know, you need to see about that freebase.
Come on. I mean, come on. You LeBron James and Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille had size. LeBron James is an athlete. Shaquille O'Neal cannot play every position. LeBron James can play every position.
I'm not saying that he had every
But that's a part of being a great athlete.
No, it isn't. That's a part of skill.
No.
If Shaquille O'Neal, yes, it is. No. Because if Shaquille O'Neal was focused on dribbling the basketball, bringing the basketball up, that's a different animal. When you're talking about athleticism, you have never seen the big man move like Shaquille O'Neal. So I don't want to what you're talking about acting like he wasn't a great. Did not move like Shaquille O'Neal.
Are you crazy?
No, I'm not.
Will Chamberlain?
He wasn't as big as Shaquille O'Neal.
Width-wise, he wasn't as big. He's taller. He's
clear. Can we get the mannequin here? Are you okay?
I'm not sure because you're speaking lunacy.
No, bruh.
Yeah, bruh. Will Chamberlain was one of the best athletes ever. LeBron James is one of the best athletes to play sports, period.
I agree.
So you're saying Shaq is that? Shaq is not that.
Shaquille O'Neal.
And don't sleep because I love the Diesel, but he is not the athlete. I would just listen to them now talking about how Michael Jordan couldn't even play in today's era, and LeBron James.
I don't know who said that nonsense.
Some of the pundits.
The pundits are full of shit. That's the case. I'll come out and say it with some profanity.
Yeah, it was on. Matter of fact, it was on your boy Colin's show.
There's not an era. Colin's not my boy. I don't know him. There's not an era that Michael Jordan could not play in. If there's a basketball on the court, Michael Jordan's getting the job done.
I feel like that too. I'm just saying what some of the people are saying now. But since
then you've got to give the people.
You know what you got to give them. What you got to give them?
I give them what they want.
Exactly. But now everybody has short-term memory. Now everybody's on the LeBron bandwagon and everything. He's been great for a long time.
He's been great for a decade.
And now, if this guy, if this guy goes back to the finals again, 9 years in a row, are you kidding?
Would this be 9?
This would be 9. This would be player 9.
I got 9. What? Shout out to IP. But back on track is that nobody except for Shaq got worse treatment from the refs than LeBron James.
This is terrible.
And you know what? I actually have a feeling now this is part of the reason that he does the ridiculous flopping that he does from time to time.
Because he has to overdo it just to show what's going on.
Even though
literally your boy is about to pull his shoulder out the other day.
And they tried to cheat the game and call it on him.
Can you believe that? He was like, "No, get out of here with that." He was like, "Get out of here with that."
I don't, man.
This is after time had expired.
And they tried to figure out a way to
put more time
Toronto.
On the clock.
Toronto's in danger of getting swept now.
Yeah. I felt like that after the first game because he's in their head, and he's always been in their head.
He owns them.
He owns them
as per the the trending topic yesterday, LeBronto.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question though. Does Kyle Lowry look out of shape to you?
He looks like and this is, I'm not saying this as like speculatory, but he looks like somebody who drinks. Like, it doesn't look like he's like out of shape. He just looks like somebody who has a little bit of puffy. Look, kind of like how Carmelo used to look.
Yeah.
Before Carmelo, you remember when he did that focus when he was like, you know what, Kobe, blah 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 blah. They're all right. I need to get myself. Yeah. I can put the ball in the hole, but I can do more.
Right.
You know what? Let's say what Next Victim has to say about it.
I'm sure he's got something to say.
What up, though?
You got it.
Next Victim, live on the OZone. What is the latest, my brother?
Man, I'm trying to be cool in this heat.
It's John Blaze. It is John Blaze.
Like Brown was in Toronto.
Well, you jumped in right on the right part of the conversation. How'd you know? You must have the wiretap from Special Counselor Mueller in the OZone. Now, because what we're talking about now, I just want to talk about just the insanity of LeBron. I'm in the process of gushing over LeBron James. I don't ever want to hear anybody fronting on this dude at all but
you will.
They keep fronting on him for some reason. Let's just talk about Game 7s in general. He destroyed the Pacers in Game 7.
A better team.
Who were a better team than Cavs. I agree with that, actually. Because part of the problem is I don't understand why Kevin Love and the rest of the guys just get caught up watching. I can understand how you get caught up watching Kobe Bryant.
I can, too.
How you get caught up watching Russell Westbrook.
And even Michael Jordan,
and even Mike to a certain degree.
But he's trying to get you involved, and that's why it hurts his game to a certain degree.
It hurts his game.
He's trying to get you involved early. He said, I'm not going to take over this game early. I need you to get wet. I got 3 guys on me. I understand that. I'm going to kick the ball out to you. You're wide open. Hit this. And you're getting paid millions of dollars to do that.
And I facilitated you getting paid millions of dollars to
just hit
get wet. Hit an open jumper. Tip, are you available to hit an open jumper for LeBron James?
I am available to hit any open jumper.
I thought you were. So am I. I think I can give you a little bit.
Any jersey, any number on the jersey. Like, just let me play with LeBron so I can hit a jumper. I'm ready.
Man, it is. You know what? I don't understand. But what I just wanted to go is the down 20 in Game 1 against the Raptors. All up and down my timeline, people talking reckless about LeBron before the game, during the game. And I told them I had to drop my own little trolling yesterday because remember when everybody thought that that somehow Toronto was going to beat LeBronto? And it is not going to happen. If there's a team that's going to beat him, it's the San Antonio Spurs because that's who has mind control over him.
But when it's dismantled,
and it ain't going to do it no more. But when it comes to the Toronto Raptors, you don't have to worry about LeBron James getting the best of him. I can tell you that much.
They look demoralized already.
They're demoralized. They look demoralized when they came out strong, fake confidence, and then you can see that it just all start to fall apart.
He said, "Oh, really? You feel yourself?
You guys think you guys are?"
Absolutely, because he looked at his whole demeanor was like, "Okay, let me get my teammates involved." And then once he felt like his teammates couldn't do nothing, okay, let me turn the pedal on a little bit. Let me just cruise into the fourth. And like we always said, we down by 10 in the fourth. Your ass is in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble. We can come back.
The game has never seen anything like this.
Never.
Victim. We're talking about a guy that does 100. I've personally, and not even just like in the NBA. I'm talking about playing all park, playing anywhere.
Right.
I've never seen one dude who does everything for the team.
Everything.
And takes you to the dub. It's not just he does everything, but you win.
Yes,
the way that he's filling up the stat line is
effective.
Effective. I mean, everything across the board. I'm talking about steals, blocks, you name it. He's on the ground. He's not above doing anything.
He's averaging like 44 minutes. The only time he sits down is during the TV timeout.
That's it. The guy's in the back folding laundry and uniforms. I saw him serve up a couple Gatorades to a couple guys on the team. He's drawing up plays. I saw LeBron James signing papers for Dan Gilbert. I don't know what else this guy can do for the organization.
Look, he's trying to sue Cat for using the timeline. I'm like, this dude is he's everywhere. And this is why I said this cat is my MVP.
He's the MVP.
He's proved it time and time again. The James Harden argument, okay, you lost. You got an all-star team and you lost to Utah, which is a great team. It's going to take them to 7. But LeBron James, the king, man, Toronto was defeated if they would have won that first game, it would have boosted their confidence up and helped them a whole bunch. But by them losing in overtime, that shit is a wrap. They can bring me, they can bring whoever to the game. It's a wrap, son.
I'm just wondering if they're going to get swept. And I wonder if Cleveland can keep the focus, because this is part of the problem with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They have a hard time keeping focus from game to game.
Yeah, but even if they don't keep focus, the thing of it is that they still have LeBron James, who is focused. You've never seen one person, not Michael Jordan, not anybody, who dominates the game completely like this. He can turn it on, and they can't. Who have you seen to do this?
Well, no.
By themselves?
What I'm saying is that I don't personally believe that he can continue doing that. So
yeah.
I think that I
disagree.
And I don't because
eight final appearances later,
and 3-5 in the finals. This is you guys. If you guys let me talk, you guys understand what I'm saying. It all sounds good and it's great to look at, and everybody knows that I'm all pro team LeBron. But in real life, he still is a human. So even if playing 44 minutes a night doesn't wear you down right away, by the time you get to the finals and you play another team who actually is on the level and knows how to close, this is how you lose, 4-1 in the finals, 4-2 in the finals. I'm not saying it's on LeBron that they do that, but there's only so much that a guy can do. And then on top of that, this season, LeBron didn't take his mandatory 2-week vacation in the middle of the season, which I think really, really has helped him stamina-wise for the last couple seasons.
I don't agree. I mean,
I got to disagree with that one too. Go ahead.
And not only that, 3 out of the 5 finals that he's went to. How many guys like Reggie Miller and Charles Barkley, whatever, would be happy to even say they got one? This dude has been there 3 out of 5. The only knock that a lot of knocks that I hear about him is that Mike's got 6. Okay, Mike got 6. He's got 3. He's been against better teams. He's played on lesser teams.
He's been the better team a few times. He has not been the better team. We can't say that LeBron James is the Messiah here. But you going Kanye West on me. But don't
ever put me in this thing. I'm never not like Kanye.
This is visionary. This situation. The Heat team was definitely better than the Mavericks. The Heat team was actually better than the Spurs team.
No, because you have a better Popovich.
I think. Let me say something real quick. I think right now, with LeBron, you can see the difference. He's having a lot more fun. He's laughing.
You can see that. I agree. I fully agree with that.
And he's feeling himself.
With the previous years,
and he's letting him hang out.
With the previous years, whether he was with Cleveland, whether he was with Miami, it was so much pressure on him. Now it's more. Just the feel, it's like, man, this dude is clowning, hitting fallaways that's about to hit the scoreboard, and he's having a good time out there.
That teardrop fallaway.
Man,
that teardrop fallaway is too much.
That's too much.
It's too much. You can't hold it.
He knows that he has just complete mind control over the Eastern Conference. You know what I'm saying?
I think over a lot of this is the knock that I have a problem with, is that people act like he couldn't dominate in the West. I have a real problem when I keep reading
ridiculous. That. He dominated the Golden State Warriors by himself again. Well, he had Kyrie, but he dominated the Golden State. The numbers that he put up in that finals, are you crazy? Nobody's ever put up numbers like that.
47, 19,
and they had the best defense in basketball.
Forget about it.
Right.
And you can argue it wasn't effective because he didn't win, but at the same time, I know exactly what I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. Nobody's going to get me to say anything bad about LeBron James. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the man is human, and what I have seen is, at a certain point, there's only so much that he can do, and he's doing it. Right. This is not what we were talking about. Victim is the only knock I can say in the last 3 games from LeBron James is in Game 1 against the Raptors at the end of the game, when at the end of the game he got to the rack and decided to kick out. It almost cost them the game.
Right.
But we're talking about almost. He's up 2-0. He's up 2-0 and going back to the crib for some home cooking.
Yeah.
So, and then the other piece that you missed out on when we were speaking on is how. Yeah, I saw you interact online on Twitter as well. There's all these people smoking rocks that are trying to suggest that LeBron James gets calls.
That dude gets no call. He gets the lesser calls. Victor Oladipo is getting way more calls than LeBron.
Everybody. The only thing that I can wholeheartedly sign off on is that LeBron James travels for some reason every time off a rebound or off an inbound play.
Why not?
That's a quick step. That's a quick step. You're doing a quick step.
No, it's a slow step. He usually just starts walking. And then,
Just walk with the rock.
Then he'll dribble the ball like, 5 seconds later.
What can you do?
And it is a what can you do? Because that's not like, I don't see LeBron travel a lot actually when he's going to the rack. He just travels in the backcourt a lot for like, I don't know what that is.
One of my problems is that everybody tries to act like there's always a question if he's the MVP or if
It's
he's the best
disrespectful.
player in the league.
It's disrespectful.
It's disrespectful, man. I mean, he's one of the best players to ever
lace him up. To ever lace him up.
I mean, we
And
can
he
literally go
can't-
throw him up on the wire.
He don't retire them kicks, man. You can't say. I mean, he proves it. He can't prove it anymore. I just don't know what else this guy
What
can
else
do to
did-
get everybody's respect. And I tell
He
you,
almost owns all the records.
We have to tie in, and the only problem I have with him almost owning all the records is that the NBA has continued to stretch out the season and the postseason. So he's owning the regular season records are undeniable, but the postseason records, they always try to put this up just to get people like us to talk about who's better between him and Michael Jordan. He played a lot more games in a lot more series because of the NBA stretching.
But that's only been what,
that's not anybody's fault.
How long has that been? That
That's-
did start
that's-
that like 5 years,
Nah.
3 to 5 years ago?
No, that's been a while. T.
No, I don't think so.
So,
Yeah, it's been a
so
while.
we should add up the total number of playoff games that he's played his career. That shit is almost like a whole nother season.
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt, it's
Yeah.
more than that. It's more than 82
And
games.
so when you try to take away from that, not that you're taking away from, but if you try to take away from that, you have to also understand that that's more wear and tear on his body that he's actually performing.
which brings me to my next point, which may be the most impressive thing about LeBron James, especially coming from a guy who walks funny now from getting beat up playing sports. He never gets hurt.
I know. I hate even speaking on it because I didn't want to, but it's awesome that.
Listen, it's not a. To me, it has nothing. This ain't
not
a
a
jinx or
taboo.
nothing. It's
Yeah.
not, and it's not a fluke.
Yeah, because he takes care of himself.
and it's a great example to the kids.
Yeah.
because he you know what, he respects the game and the game respects him back.
Respects his body.
and that's what I mean, the overall game. And the only thing that I can think of is people are upset because LeBron James is opinionated and he does speak out on social issues and other issues
As he should.
and he's proving that you can do that and still maintain your integrity and your public face and win. And a lot of people want him to shut up and dribble, to quote
Yeah.
the dingbat on Fox.
Yeah.
Right.
But
they try to find something, and this dude is a constant professional at all times. And
at all
that
times
is
for
hard.
20 years now. Since he was a
on.
kid, he had one misstep where the whole thing with the decision. What can you do? That scandal is
That's
much
cosmetic.
less. That's exactly what that is. A great adjective. It's totally cosmetic because it's like one little faux pas in the grand scheme of all the scandals that we see from all the athletes nowadays. Forget about it.
Right.
But let's move on from the king because really, what more can we say? we
can talk about it all day, literally.
We can run it all day. Yeah. And so I think that this Houston Rockets, like I predicted before, I think the Houston Rockets may be in trouble. I said they were in trouble last round, so I'm not trying to front like I was talking about Utah. I just meant in general because D'Antoni teams, by and large, don't play defense.
Right.
And Donovan Mitchell is not impressed.
He's not impressed. He's going to the rack.
And he wet from deep.
And they D up.
And-
Utah has the best
and
defense in
exactly.
basketball, right?
Really?
Yeah.
I
He's
didn't know.
D'ing up. That whole squad is D'ing up.
Right.
And they're like, okay, we're here.
Right.
You may have counted us out, but Quinn Snyder got them saying, okay, we here. We about to ball out. We about to take away their strengths and make them real weak.
And you only needed one. You
Yeah.
only needed one on the road. It's hard to win in Utah, as we all know from years and years of watching maybe the greatest team of all time. That Los
Yeah.
Angeles Lakers team had a hard time winning Utah.
Right.
If they got a hard time winning Utah, it's hard to win in Utah, Jack.
They couldn't do it.
They took Michael Jordan and them 6 and 7 up in Utah.
And you got Mitt Romney in the stands holding it down?
I'm here. What do you want from me?
Pass me the mitt.
Pass me the pill. My jumper's wet.
Turnaround jumper.
Ping, ping. Man, somebody guard Mitt, man.
But they cut loose, man. He about to hit you for a triple-double.
Who got Mitt? Okay, guys, these guys can't hold me.
Pass me the ball.
Just give me the pill. Just give me the pill and get out of the way. And after this, I'm going to go work on some legislation and some capital gains. Yeah. So you know, it's Utah. I you know what? Honestly, I don't follow Utah enough. I've kept them in my periphery. I've just watched these last couple games. I don't follow them enough, but they have all the tools. I watched them last season when they played the Clippers when the big fella got hurt early and they still, won. Now, if you look at it, you know, I'm a very big proponent of the big man. They have the big man and they have strong guards, and they even got a weirdo out there in Ingles that can even though that's a rude thing to say. He's not a weirdo. He just is an unorthodox looking guy. I'm sorry, Joe Ingles. That was wrong of me. But Ingles is a dude that's out there looking unorthodox. And if you look at most teams that win championships or go deep, they got some guy out there like a Dellavedova or like a, you know what I mean?
They got that one.
They got somebody who wouldn't fit.
A Birdman or something. And nobody's picking up. You're like, I got him, because you see something in him.
Yep.
And he out there busting fool's ass.
Yep.
And it works because the defense is going side. You know, and he out there
he's out there winning them up. But it can be in any position.
And he's a lefty.
And he's a lefty.
He's a lefty.
And he's slow motion.
And he plays good defense.
Yeah, it's in slow motion. Mm-hmm. And he looks like he's having a good time.
The whole team looks like they're having a good time. Yep. I disagree that.
Woo!
You want to party? You know, I disagree, though, because if you look on paper with the Houston Rockets, their team really, the way that they built them, they're built to try to match up with the Golden State Warriors, but they actually should be on paper better than Utah. But they play like park basketball compared to the fundamental style of basketball that Utah is playing. Utah is defensively sound. You know, we all know off the top that Houston is not interested in playing defense. They want to shoot about 100 threes a game, and hopefully they fall. And if they do, great. And if they don't, we'll take a loss. And it comes back to haunt you.
Right. But it goes back to playing team ball.
It also goes to another factor, which is, sorry to cut you off, Victor, but it goes into another factor, which is Chris Paul and James Harden both have a lot to prove in the playoffs, man. Neither one of them have a solid track record deep into the playoffs.
Right.
You will not win that way.
No,
you got to show. This is when you got to show up,
and that's the coach's fault, though. You think? I agree that they should.
I think to a certain degree, it's the players. You have to take that on yourself.
But the system that he's put in place is not a winning system. It's a beautiful system to watch.
Yeah,
and it's entertaining, but it does not win when you start going to the pick and roll and everything else. They're in the half.
They don't front on the pick and roll.
No, I'm not talking. They don't play. You know, they're out there running and gunning, but the other teams play pick and roll on them.
I was
they go half court set.
Don't front on the pick and roll.
Pick and roll is
nothing wrong to you.
Pick and roll is where it's at in the playoffs.
The pick and roll. Ask the mailman.
Yeah.
But
how's the family?
Sometimes you got to stay on the script. Sometimes you got to get off the script.
Sometimes you got to get off the script.
Shout out to Inside Jokes. Yeah, and you know what? So I am perplexed last night that Ben Simmons scored 1 point.
Yeah.
He's way too good for that.
I mean, and even if you score 1 point, if you look, you expect for a kid like that, you look at the stat sheet, and if he has 1 point, you expect him to have like 25 assists or something. You know what I mean?
They set him down.
They needed to. His mind wasn't right.
Yeah, but the thing of it is that now
they were up big. I turned the game off. I thought, the real Sixers showed up.
No, I didn't turn it off because Boston is another team that's fundamentally
super
sound
well coached
and super
best
well
coach in basketball. That guy.
That's too far because he's not better than Popovich. But because they have way more talent.
It's a good point. But I don't know. But Papa's in a bad spot right now.
Yeah, but Popovich doesn't have the talent that they have out there.
No, especially since his best player doesn't play.
Yeah, and they have a bunch of old cuts out there.
Talent. Pop doesn't have the young talent.
Yeah, the young talent.
I agree. You're right.
I mean,
I went too far. Okay, he's the best coach in the East.
Okay, thank you.
No
now, but in that, they're playing in a system. They're playing. They can depend on each other. We see that the Philadelphia, I was going to call them Philadelphia Phillies, the Philadelphia Sixers, they depend on Embiid and Ben Simmons. And after that,
Well, they have they're just young. This is just isn't the year
Young
yet,
in the game.
They're just young in the game. And you know what? Their coached under Pop, and he's going to have to do some adjusting. One thing that he said that I liked a lot was he actually said, you know what? This long layoff didn't help us. After game 1, he came out and spoke on it a la Mike Scioscia a couple years ago. And
Shaq spoke on it.
He said the long layoff just plain and simply didn't help us. And it's the truth. This is, once again, the NBA sacrificing, you know what I mean? The better game for the money.
The quality for the good.
And the game don't wait.
The game don't wait.
Oh,
And so, you know what? It's going to be hard to come back from 2-0, but they can do it. But it's going to be very difficult to come back from 2-0.
They're not coming back to
I don't think so. And I also don't. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. You guys can speak on it, but I don't really feel like the Pelicans. The Pelicans are in a tough spot as well. I think they overachieved, to be honest. I would be
Without
interested.
Boogie, definitely.
That's what I mean. I'd be interested to see if they can even get one game off the Warriors. And for real, I wonder about Steph Curry's knee.
He looks good.
He does look good, but
you think he actually has the Kawhi when last year when Kawhi, they said it was his ankle, but it was actually his knee. You think it?
I don't know.
Now, Kawhi has a quad issue that calcified. They said I read about, and
that's the problem.
And then atrophy set in, and it all came from the dirty play of
Zaza Pachulia.
But the thing of it is that I think that he had a serious knee issue. I don't think that it was a situation where he was sitting out because he's
Steph or Kawhi.
Steph.
Okay,
Steph is not sitting out, and I don't think that he.
No. I don't think.
No, I think that's what Next Victim was speaking on, right?
No. That's not what he's saying. He was saying that he was asking me if I thought that he actually had a more serious injury than if they were pulling the decoy.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
And I think they are. I don't necessarily think that it's more serious than announced. I just think that he's taken some damage to his lower body in the past couple years, and I don't think he's built Ford tough in that sense. I think he's mentally very strong, but I don't think physically. The way that I saw JaVale McGee roll on his leg,
right? It wasn't
unfortunately, I've seen that before in myself, and unfortunately, as a person with knee problems, they're very difficult to
recover,
to bounce back.
Overcome.
It's difficult. See, this is the thing. It's difficult to recover. But how many times have you guys seen me hurt my knee and then recover? Well, now I've hurt my knee, and now it's it's feeling like it's almost impossible to recover. Eventually, you become fragile to a certain degree, so that you're still playing an NBA game. So if Steph ends up under the box again, this kind of thing could be a career-threatening thing. It could be a real thing. Is all I'm saying.
JaVale McGee knew it. You saw him
no doubt.
He laid on the floor,
and I just don't know. I just don't know if you can count. I personally think you can count on Klay Thompson. I don't know about the Warriors without him.
They're very susceptible to fall without him.
I agree.
But I mean, who's going to get him? The Rockets? Come on, man.
The Rockets, Duke Longley. The Rockets.
I would take Utah over the
Rockets.
Yeah,
I get you. But it is what it is. Victim, you got anything else to add before we move on?
Man, my Angels is heating up. Man, actually, also, I'm not sure if you guys touched on it. Great boxing last weekend.
Great boxing.
And Triple G is coming to Carson tomorrow.
Home of Next Victim.
Absolutely.
A walking distance to the StubHub.
I might be there. I'm there, matter of fact.
Shout out to Stevenson Village. Hey, if you there, maybe I'll meet up. We'll do a live OZone. You never know. All right, Victim. Well, we'll wrap with you soon off air, and give us your prediction real quick for the rest of these series that are playing out now that are 2-0, 2-0.
I'm just gonna jump. King James in the finals. He'll see Golden State once again in the finals. King James all the way. He's gonna beat Golden State in the finals.
Next Victim. Always a pleasure having you on.
Peace.
And I'm out.
What a friend we have in Tipper.
Yes, sir, Bob.
Yeah, ladies and gents. I didn't want to go too thorough on basketball, but what can we do?
Went deep.
It had to go deep. What we do want to cover is a little bit of the NFL draft. I'm not a draft watcher myself because I don't know enough about college to really say who's going to make a difference to give an accurate prediction. But we have a couple people who are interested, including my brother, the Icons, who seem to be very astute about watching that draft and to see who was what and where was where. And we have a longtime caller and contributor to the OZone who's ready to go. Trucker Dave.
Hey, fellas. How's it going?
Oh, live in the Ozone. Just got done talking about the audacity of LeBron James to do absolutely everything possible in a basketball arena to make a team win. It's just unbelievable. And now we're talking about the NFL draft.
Wow. Hey, well, you're on some good topics.
It's not so bad today.
It's really not that bad.
But how you feeling out there? What's going on the roads of these here United States of America?
Oh, not too much, but you know what they say, it never rains in Southern California.
I can tell you that this is true. It is a nice warm 90 degrees in Koreatown.
Oh, a little drizzle.
Not today.
A little bit of drizzle.
Yeah, a little every now and then.
Not today. Every blue moon. So what did you think about the draft? I don't know enough about college. I was just telling the listeners, I don't really know enough about the college situation to speak deeply on the draft, but I wanted to get some insight on what you were talking about trading down for picks as opposed to in other drafts. Other teams trade up for picks, and what do you think about the way that it all shook out?
Well, I think that, teams trade down because, like, you can get more value if you study the players, but it's kind of like, say it like if a guy that went to UCLA had a big name, but a guy like he who went to like Louisiana State, he didn't have a big name, but he's just as good of a player.
Right.
So you acquire more picks, and you can acquire picks for the next year, which will give you leverage depending on what happens with your team.
Huh. And who do you feel like did that in this draft this year? Effectively.
There's a couple of teams. I like what Cleveland did with Mayfield, and I like what the Chargers did. They got a really good safety. I like what the Lions did. It's your offensive line. It's a couple of teams. It's really based on needs. People like to grade, but I don't know how you can really grade now. You have to give it a couple of years. It's based on what your team really needs.
Huh. Were there a lot of running backs that went in the draft that looked like they might stand out coming up this year?
Oh yeah, man! I like what the Patriots do with Michael from Georgia. Taking him 31, and you look at the Giants getting at number 2, getting Saquon Barkley. There's no way the thing can go wrong. So they're looking at Eli.
People are talking big about the Saquon Barkley kid, man. He's got a lot of hype around him. People really feel like he's the next coming.
Yeah, I think he is, man. Look at what they did with their offensive line and getting Nate Soldier, and then getting that Gonzalez kid. So they're going to be solid up front, and it should take some pressure off of Eli, and we'll see how Beckham acts with all of this. He won't have all the attention. So, you just never know what that guy.
Now, let me ask you this. What have Seattle done to fill in all the holes that they lost with all these players? Because I just heard that they released Cliff Averill as well.
Seattle is really, really terrible. Let me tell you.
So they've done nothing to replace it, to replace the players.
Well, they drafted a punter before they addressed the offensive line. Can you believe that? They drafted a punter before they drafted a lineman.
That's crazy.
Why would they do that? What is it? What happened in Seattle? I'd really like to know, because It seems like they went from making all the right moves and pushing all the right buttons to almost not even caring. They don't even care about the optics of the situation.
I think what happened was that Pete Carroll had his finger on the pulse of the college community at that time, right when he came in. And now, since he's been out of the now that distance, that gap he hasn't bridged that gap, and now they're paying the price for it because he could actually grab anybody he wanted from the college situation. From all the other teams that he played against and everything, players that weren't like, blue chippers or whatever. And now he doesn't know as much as he did before. I think it's catching up with him because they've torn that organization down.
Yeah, they have. If you can remember, the same thing happened when he was at USC. What's happened is the business got a lot tougher. Look at the quarterbacks that are in the NFC right now, and like he's on the downward side because he hasn't improved his team. I was looking at a guy like Des Bryant, maybe to go over to Seattle. They don't have anything to lose. If they pick up Des Bryant, they don't want to address the offensive line. What are you going to get the guy?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
So that Bryant is over with, man. You know what they did get Saquon? They did get the Griffin kid, the one-armed kid that ran the 4.38.
Oh, right.
They got him and his brother.
Yeah, him and his brother, right?
Yeah, they got him and his brother, but he got way too many holes. And you can question if Pete Carroll is really that bright, man. I mean, if you're not going to protect your franchise quarterback, what are you out there doing?
And I wonder how that makes him feel.
Right.
You know, he's watching the draft. He's watching. He knows what's going on.
Yeah, but he's a one-sided coach. He's only
not Pete Carroll. I mean Russell Wilson. How does that make Russell Wilson feel? Is what I'm saying.
Oh, I mean, for the PR, of course he's going to say the right things, but when he goes home, I mean, if he gets killed,
he's been running for his life now for about a season and a half. It's been about 22 games now that he's just been hiking and sprinting and trying to make something happen with his superior athleticism.
That's true, but I'll give you a perfect example of a guy who isn't athletic as him, who paid the price, and that guy's name is Andrew Luck. He's had every injury. He missed the whole season because of the offensive line. Now they addressed the offensive line this year in the draft.
And who knows if he'll ever be back.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if he'll ever be back to the strength that he was at.
That's what I mean. That's true.
Yeah, so
that's a perfect example.
A coach who's got a one-sided all right. You get a coach that's got a one-sided mind who thinks
Whoa. We lost you. I don't know what happened, but it got really, really Johnny Roboto.
Oh, I said if you get a coach who wants to be Buddy Ryan and only focus on one side of the ball, this is a different NFL now.
Sure is, man. Too many athletes. Too many athletes.
Yeah, big balance, man. I'm disappointed in Seattle. Really disappointed.
Well, and they're playing in a real division, so it's not like this is not time to play. The Niners are better. The Rams look like they're very serious about getting to the Super Bowl, and this isn't the time to play. I think that when you're dealing with the kind of intensity and the toll that football takes on a person's body, it's never really time to play. It's one step short of boxing in the sense that it's a sport that you don't play. But a lot of these teams, you see them making moves in the draft. It's very interesting because I would say the majority of draft picks don't pan out in every sport. Mm-hmm. But when they do make an impact in football, they make a big impact.
Right.
Yeah, but I do want to say something about that Ridley, the Atlanta Falcons picking up that receiver Ridley that came from Alabama.
Yep.
He's in a perfect situation to go right next to Julio Jones. Oh, man, that guy is going to have a great season. He's going to have a great season.
Now, did they figure out everything that's going on with Julio Jones? Didn't he do something on social media where he took off his he took the Atlanta Falcons, he stopped following them or something to that effect?
Yeah, I don't know how much of that is publicity and how much of it isn't, but I know that Matt Ryan is the highest paid quarterback now at almost $30 million.
Matt Ryan is getting his cheese.
Yes.
He's not going to be asking anybody for a loan anytime soon.
$100 million guaranteed.
And
that's for football.
And you look at what Seattle didn't do. Oh man, it's like you saying to Russell Wilson, "We hate you." That's basically what I think. We hate you, man. That division's got some competition, man. But also talking about Denver getting getting Chubb at number 5. I mean, at number 4, number 5. Go on the other side of Von Miller. Oh wow. That's going to be a
lot of defense going on in the NFL this offseason. It seems like to be a lot of teams interested in shoring up the defense, and I think that's something that we see as a result of the Eagles winning the Super Bowl and the Vikings getting deep as they got into the dance. Because normally when the offensively charged Patriots or someone like that actually make a run, there's always a ripple effect. And it seems like this is the difference with the trailblazers of the coaches and executives for people who can make the trends versus people who are following them. I don't think you ever go wrong with, putting your defense first. But I've found that with the moves that are being made, it's very interesting that, that you keep seeing that.
Defensive line and offensive line. I looked at Nate Soldier. He's like your size. He's like 6'6". I don't know what he 300, 325. Man, you would have been like a first-round draft pick.
Your phone is going bugging.
I said, yeah, you would have been great with your speed and with your speed and everything else, man. You would be a great tackle or great guard.
Yeah, I always had a lot of
In the
interest in
NFL.
people having me play football.
Yeah, but you had the
You
feet
want this
too.
stick.
Yeah.
So it's all good though. Yeah, but the draft's interesting, man. And the NFL, can't wait for the season to start. And the NBA, baseball, it's all here, man. You gotta love it.
It's all here.
Showtime.
Well, Larry Tucker, Dave, sounds like you're out in the wind tunnel right now. We're going to catch you.
Yeah, out and about.
We hope you get some of this heat, and at the very least, it's going to be coming throughout the Midwest eventually because we got a high-pressure system that's going to move off of a bi-coastal alley that's going to come across the country and come right your way sometime soon.
All right, man. Sounds good. All right, you guys take care.
You too.
All right.
Serious weather going on where he is.
Man, that was
Where is
that
he in the
was
Chi?
I think he's running postal back and forth. So things are heating up in the hot stove, as they say, because it's getting hot outside and there's less rainouts, which means that it's time for Major League Baseball to go into full swing. Now, we've had a drastic turn of events from the Red Sox starting out with that just torrid start where they couldn't lose, and they've dropped a few games. They got no hit, which was a surprise. And David Price has come back down to earth, and this is what's beautiful about the baseball season. It ebbs and flows, and it's long. But the best team in baseball right now, without a doubt, is the New York Yankees, who are the Red Sox rivals. The Yankees, I think, are 10 of their last 11, maybe, or the 10 of the last 11, maybe 10 of the last 12 at the minimum. And they've done it against the best competition in baseball, actually.
Tough schedule.
Tough schedule. Wow. How about the Yanks? And they just had, arguably the best game of the season last night. You watch that game?
Yes.
What a game.
We got breaking news right now.
I saw that.
Matt Harvey just got
Designated
designated
DFA.
Yeah.
I saw that. We'll get to Matt.
Okay.
It's not a rush, apparently.
He'll be out there.
He's going to be there. Dang it. That's a terrible end. We can go right to it.
Fall
It's a
from
terrible,
grace.
terrible, terrible end for him and that organization because, man, guys, if you guys are baseball fans and followers, you know that Matt Harvey was the man. 2014, 2015, right when we started shooting ballers, as a matter of fact, Matt Harvey was the guy. It's such a difficult spot with Matt because I think people and the organization has done a lot to try to paint his performance decline with his personal behavior.
Right. And I think there's a correlation.
It's hard to say that there's not, but at the same time, I don't know if that has to do with him, throwing his arm out. But, twice. This is the second go around for him. And he's Matt was at the top of the pops. Matt was 6 outs away from winning the World Series,
Yeah.
or 4 outs away from winning the World Series,
Something like that.
or maybe 2 outs away. Or
They're going to have maybe 2 at the most.
I don't think they got him till the 9th because I think he went. Was it the 8th or the 9th that they got him?
I think he got him in the 8th.
They got him in the 8th, and
Familiar came in.
yeah, and it all went left, and that wouldn't have won them the World Series, but that would have put them
But
in
that's
a really good
it's
position.
just the fall from grace was so fast. He went from Tommy John to thoracic outlet syndrome, and then he couldn't get over the nightlife. I think that he got caught up a lot in the image. It seems like it, but it's terrible because he has talent. He still throws hard, but when that thoracic outlet syndrome happens, you don't have a feel for the ball, and pitchers actually like to use the feel of the ball. That's one reason why they like to use pine tar and any other sticky solution to control the ball, to manipulate it.
Right.
But once your fingers are numb or tingly at the end and you can't actually feel or control the ball like you need to as a major league elite starter, it's a problem.
Well, what I'm hoping for is that with this, I think he may have seen something, which I think the writing might have been on the wall before, because like you said, he still has good stuff. From time to time, you'll see flashes of excellence. I hope that what he realized when they offered him the minor league deal, when he said no, is just that, you know what, I need a new start in a new place.
Right.
And I hope somebody gives him that chance to either go to the bullpen or go somewhere else to work his way back to the show. Because when you possess the kind of talent that guy possessed, wow. Well,
he's incentivized to go to the next level. Even somebody will pick him up, but he's not going to get paid, like he was supposed to.
That's a tough thing.
Yeah,
because Matt was the kind of guy that would have signed a $150 million deal plus.
Definitely. And now he's basically looking for the bare minimum next year.
I would imagine. I don't know what he's still owed or due. I mean, I don't think
he never signed that good money. He never got that good money.
I think he got like $5.5 million at one point. He never signed that crazy. I think, but I don't think he ever signed
because this is his free agency year coming up right now.
Yeah, I don't think he ever got that crazy. You know, he didn't ever get that crazy deal.
And that's that bad CBA again too.
Man, this CBA is working the devil. Yeah. Wow. But wish the very best to Matt Harvey. Every time I see him, he's a cool dude. Yeah. You know, you have all these reports about him and being at the club and this and the other. I mean, the guy's a young guy, and the optics just don't work out for him a couple times. When he was winning, it was something that was not a problem.
It was cool. They put it in the magazines, the New York Post, and everything else.
The Dark Knight is at the basketball
game.
Now
he's not the Dark Knight. He's just darkness.
Yeah, they act like he's
Darth Vader.
He's done something. Yeah. So, you know, I wish Matt the very best, and I'm interested to see where he lands. Back to the American League East, man, that baseball game last night just proved again why the Astros were vulnerable to lose the World Series, which they didn't, obviously. But the Astros bullpen, you got to do something about this bullpen, Mr. Ryan.
And you know what? Even with their bullpen yesterday, what they showed was that was A.J. Hinch's fault because Davinsky has closed out more games than anybody on that squad. So why is he coming in the 7th instead of the 9th? Because he shut them down when he came in. But then you went to Will Harris. When I saw that first walk,
Will Harris, who got tattooed in the Bronx last year in the playoffs with them.
So you bring Will Harris in, and Will Harris gets gutted.
Then Brad Peacock tries to clean it up.
Yeah, and he gets a blown save.
And he gets a blown save.
He gets that BS.
Because a nice piece of hitting from Miguel Andujar, actually.
Yeah, Miguel Andujar was a part of that comeback rally as well because who was that walked?
He's the one that got the knock to tie the game.
Yeah, but no, I thought Torres got it. Gleber.
Oh, Torres got it. Andujar was that's my bad.
Because they got the walk, then Andujar went through the 4-3 hole.
You're right.
And it's so, I mean, but you need to address that bullpen. I don't know who they have so much talent in their minor league system that they can go out and get them a top notch. They can go get.
You just feel like something. It's almost like a heady thing where they're like, no, we made this big trade for Ken Giles.
And we're
gonna make Ken Giles. Kind of like because they were that same way with Luke Gregerson for a long time.
Yeah,
when Luke Gregerson was blowing saves left and right.
Yeah,
and they rode with him, for a long time and let him mess up the team for a while. But I think Ken Giles can still be effective, just not in the 9th.
I think Ken Giles could be effective on another team because he needs to be in that relocation program because I think he's worn out his welcome,
Right.
And I think that what you need to do is to get some of those kids from the minor leagues and just let them come up there and blow cheese because everybody's got kids in their minor league system nowadays that throws from 95 to 100 miles an hour and just let them come up there and fill it out. See what you have because they've been bringing kids up.
And it's been effective. To the tune of a World Series.
Exactly. So why not keep it going? But this is still early, And
yeah, it's still early. But it was a nice statement by the Yankees. Yeah. I can't front. The Yankees went in there and swept what was arguably the best team in baseball, the defending champs.
And definitely without Didi Gregorius.
And blanked them for
2
of the 3 games.
28 innings.
Yeah.
28 innings. But they shut down Didi Gregorius, and they still won, which is saying a lot.
Yeah.
And that's those kids stepping up, because Stanton is still stinging to join up, and Judge didn't really do anything. Gary Sanchez showed up. So, you had Severino that showed up, Tanaka.
You're mistaken. Stanton hit 2 bombs in one game. If you remember, it was Stanton 4, Astros 0 in one of the games.
But I'm talking about the middle game of the series. That's just one game.
Yeah, but this is why it's a team, and this is why the Yankees are a dangerous lineup, is because they don't have to have everybody clicking on all cylinders. Just like how the Astros last year got everybody clicking on all cylinders most of the year, but especially in the playoffs, that's what made them so dangerous. What makes the Yankees dangerous is one night Stanton can hit 2 bombs, and that's all the offense you need. The next night, Judge can hit you in the gap, and then Didi's always lurking. They have those elements, and they're starting to gel. And it's going to be interesting to see if the pitching can hold up their end of the bargain, especially given the injury to young Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah, and Chance Adams is not panning out right now in the minor leagues so far.
Sonny Gray's still not Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray hasn't been Sonny Gray for a couple of years,
like 3 years now, almost 3 years.
Yeah, and I would definitely still go with the Astros because they have the best starting rotation in baseball. Period. I mean, it's not. It's
not about still going with them. It's that this is where we are right now. This is you can still go with them if you like. There's a lot of baseball to be played. You got 4.5 months of yes. You don't have to make a declaration now.
Right now, I'm making my declaration. I'm
feel free. That's on you. I think that if Houston doesn't get their bullpen together, they're not going to go anywhere.
They didn't have the bullpen together last year.
They did, though, low key. Even though they didn't have their bullpen, even though Ken Giles wasn't together. Davinsky was effective last year. Brad Peacock was super effective last year.
What was effective was that
and Liriano was effective last year. Strangely enough,
that they put some of the starters in the bullpen. That's what was effective when the.
So that means they had the bullpen together. So this is my point.
The starting rotation.
At this point, if they don't get that with the way that the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim are playing,
where are they?
With the way that they're playing, and they're playing good baseball down there in Anaheim. And the way that they're playing, they're going to have to actually fight for that division.
I don't agree that the Angels are playing good baseball. They're playing against the Baltimore Orioles.
And what are they supposed to do?
They're supposed to beat them, but it's not
impressive. So what are you mad at?
I'm mad because Ohtani is not getting to play all the time, and that's.
But they still win games.
But they're winning the games. They're beating up on these teams like this, but they don't win against good teams. Like the Yankees just made a statement against the Astros, but the Angels didn't make a statement against the Yankees. These are the games. These are the games that really make a difference down the line because this is not just a physical issue, it's a mental issue. So when you have to go against them again, and Ohtani hit a bomb off of Severino, turned around a 97-mile-an-hour fastball like it wasn't anything. But you got him swinging the stick 2 times. I would like to hear the conversation, jump cut. I would like to hear the conversation that they had with him to sell him to come there because I don't think that this is what he signed up for.
Yeah, because they told from the way that it was sold to us in the public was they told him you can hit and pitch.
Yes, and they just have him DHing. And he's an outfielder, and he's a really good outfielder. And they have him just DHing, and he's playing maybe 2 to 3 times a week.
I had an OZone listener approach me and say they should make Ohtani the closer, at which point he could play every day. And then he can just close games and come in and blow cheese when he's available.
I don't think Ohtani's interested in doing that. I think he's interested in blowing cheese the whole game.
Because, as shown by his 7 perfect innings, just about.
Yeah, and I think that it hurts his game all around.
No doubt about it.
When he's not playing all the time.
There's no doubt about it.
And that's like I was saying, I wondered what the conversation was to sell him on coming here because I don't think that that's what they told him.
Right.
That's why he was starting to murmur a little murmur about him, talking about more playing time. And I don't understand why you have that type of athlete. And I hear some of the
who needs to ask for more playing time.
Exactly. I hear pundits saying, well, this has never been done and you can't do that. I don't understand why not.
That's why you got him.
Yeah, that's why you got him.
Why you can't?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to go LeVar Ball on him.
Yeah. Yeah, and he needs his dad out there in the stands say what's going on here.
He does.
Because something's not right. He needs to play more. I agree with that. But the Angels are still winning, and I think that's going to be part of their argument, for them to manage it. It's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes out, but it's going to be a surprisingly competitive division. So it seems, because the Angels starters seem like they've actually figured out a way to keep them in the games.
The Angels are in first place.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so you have that. If we keep it to the home teams and we talk about the actual Los Angeles Dodgers, boy oh boy oh boy, Corey Seager out for the year, Tommy John surgery. That's not a good look for the.
Not a good look at all.
It's not a good look for the Dodgers.
It would be awesome if they, reach out and get Manny Machado like they're speaking of. That would be great for Los Angeles, not just the Dodgers.
That would be great for Los Angeles, and I wonder who it would be bad for because somebody, when Corey Seager came back, I can't imagine. Manny Machado is the kind of ball player that actually can turn around the season, and if they got Manny Machado here in Los Angeles, he actually could shore up that lineup. And they could get rocking and rolling, in my opinion.
Yes,
because they're not going to have a hard time scoring
like in
runs.
a week or something.
Yeah, I agree. And then JT comes back after that. You get Turner come in after that. Y'all going to start putting up a lot of runs.
And I think that one of the things that Manny Machado would bring to that lineup, which is a big hole or flaw, is he would bring a right-handed
power bat.
Yeah, a right-handed power bat that hits for decent average as well. Because their rotation with Bellinger and Seager, and then they brought up this kid Alex Verdugo. All these are lefties that and Jock Pederson.
And Jock Pederson, their insistence on Chase Utley.
Yeah. So you have a rotation, a lineup that's like, 70% lefties.
Is it that much?
Yeah. Is it 5 or 6 players?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's maybe half lefties on any given night, but it's predominantly lefty. And it's not working is the point.
Right.
Is that
more so
they actually finally picked up beat the Diamondbacks for 2. Mm-hmm. But I think the most concerning thing, even more so than Corey Seager, now knowing that he's out, is that Clayton Kershaw isn't effective.
Right.
And we've never seen that. We've never seen a prolonged period where Clayton Kershaw is not effective.
You know what? And I was believing that a little bit myself, but when I go back and look at his numbers, he's not striking out as many people, but he's still effective. He's not giving up more than he's averaging maybe 2 to 3 runs a game, and they're just still not scoring runs.
They've reverted to the old when he was before. I think that for me, watching games, I'm so used to Clayton Kershaw being totally dominant that he is effective. I'm not saying that he's not still one of the elite pitchers, but he's not the best pitcher in baseball.
Right,
and that there's a panache that comes with that when the guys step on the field saying we got the best guy in baseball, and not only do we know it, you know it.
Panache, huh?
You know that he is the best, and coming in there is going to be a situation that is mentally intimidating to you guys. Now I don't see that. Now what happens is he goes out there, he's giving up bombs, he's not striking guys out, he's getting guys out, but he's not striking guys out. He's not going really deep into games, and he doesn't. Watching the games, he doesn't look dominant like he looks normally.
Well, for me, I think one of the problems is that it might be an analytic thing, but before, when they had other catchers catching him, like Grandal's catching him now, and I've recognized the difference ever since A.J. Ellis left.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about
because what he used to do when he had 2 strikes on you, it was
He'd
lights
get you out of there.
But
He'd
now,
get you out of there.
But now, if you watch the games and see what the hitters have done and how the adjustments that they've made, and it seems like the Dodgers haven't made it, and that might be an analytic thing, is that they're
jumping early.
Yeah, they're jumping on him early.
Yeah.
And they know that he's throwing fastballs.
Yeah,
and it seems like the Dodgers just need to make the difference right there because he's a control guy that has actually that has a decent velocity. So you don't have to start off with a fastball all the time.
Right.
But they still do it.
Because his theory was jumping ahead.
Right.
And it worked.
And then to combat that, the players have said, they said, well, we'll try to jump on him early and not get into that hole. But that's what made him being able to extend to ambush. But what made him be able to go deep into the games.
Right.
Because you would swing early, but you would swing at his pitch and not yours. So, he's not as dominant as far as striking people out, but he's still getting outs, and they just are not scoring runs. They're just not a good team.
They're not the best team. I can tell you that. Another team that's surprising so far is the Minnesota Twins. I don't know how they're underachieving. I think I have a lot of faith in Paul Molitor to turn it around, but right now, I don't know. I think there's a I don't know. Who else you like to speak on? I actually think Don Mattingly's got the Marlins playing decent, even though they're a ragtag bag of fugitive.
They can't score runs either, and that's their only problem. But he has them playing well above
for who they are.
They don't have any no names in that lineup besides Starling Castro.
They got all no names in that lineup besides Starling Castro.
I mean, come on, he brought up all these AAA players, and they're actually competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you want from them? I'm surprised about Milwaukee. Milwaukee's sticking around.
And I don't think it's real.
I don't think it's real either because they make too many errors.
They play bad baseball.
Yeah, they play
bad baseball. I see it offensively and defensively. Mm-hmm. They just don't play a good game. This is the season in certain ways is shaking out the way you expect it to shake out. In other ways, not. You saw that near injury with Jacob deGrom. I'm glad that he's okay.
Right. I think the jury's still out if he's okay.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, he hyperextended his elbow, and now they're saying, pitcher shouldn't hit or whatever.
All the time. It's always, man.
That's just them saying that. How do we know when he hyperextended his elbow? He went out there and pitched after he took his at-bat.
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Well,
I mean, Arizona seems like they're real.
They reluctantly have to say they do. I just don't believe in Zach Greinke. I don't believe in their front line. Even though Patrick Corbin used to be really good, he's back. Seems back.
That's
Godley's back. Mm-hmm. I just don't believe in. That's what I just said. Patrick Gordon.
Oh, I thought you said Godley.
I said Corbin then Godley.
Oh, okay. Sorry, young man. Don't.
And then Greinke. I just never been crazy for Zach Greinke after he admitted that he didn't want to play the big time situation. I think that we're seeing now that Danny Duffy is a guy that only likes to play to win because Danny Duffy can't put it together.
He can't put it together,
and he's because he's not in a winning environment.
But what about your Bravos?
How about the Atlanta Bravos?
They've cultivated talent and bringing it up.
It's beautiful to watch.
It's beautiful to watch.
It's beautiful
and
to watch.
And they are dominating.
And they're real.
And they're real. It's not even fake. It's real.
It's real. The
young
Braves,
pitchers,
they're
the
in
young
first place.
infielders, the young outfielders.
And they bust heads. It's not like they...
Yeah.
These aren't necessarily... Even though they have... I've seen them win some tight games. The Braves come out and club you to death. And their pitchers are shutting you down. They
Yeah.
won yesterday, I think 11-0.
They have the number one in the National League, the number one ERA.
Try to tell everybody about Fallen Naywitz.
Come on. I don't
my
think it's
man.
him. Is it him?
Bruh.
It's the Fallen Naywitz.
Why can't it be him?
Sean Newcomb's looking good.
Yeah.
I mean, they brought up the kid Soroka.
They brought up the kid Acuna, obviously, and they're having fun.
They're having fun. They're playing the game that they love.
They're having the game. It is a
Have a game.
boys' game played by men.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't look like that, usually the team isn't effective. If you watch those teams in the World Series last year, both of those teams had a lot of fun.
Man, they were like, man, this is the best game ever.
It's unbelievable. Every game.
Yeah.
Every game they were like
Yeah.
that. So, yeah, very interested to see what's going down in baseball town. Want to move on to boxing. And speaking of the Braves, real quick, that last piece of the Braves, Joey Bat's coming there tonight.
Yeah, I don't think they need him.
And I'm wondering why they're bringing Joey
I
Bats.
wonder why they're bringing him up as well.
I hope he doesn't mess up the chemistry.
Yeah.
But it is
Putting
nice
the
to see
Joey
him
Bats
back
on
at
him.
third. But you never know. He's a very proud player, so he may actually come in and make some noise.
Yeah, what can you expect from him? I think he'd give you 15, 16 bombs, maybe 20.
I was about to say he's got to have a lot of protection, to be honest, because those guys are hitting the ball. Main thing that they don't need is Joey Bats that hits 230 with 15, 20 bombs.
And they don't need the ego.
They definitely don't need that. But, I mean, as far as the numbers go, they actually need guys that just put the ball in play because the other guys are putting the ball in play.
Well, I like what they're doing is because the Braves are hitting good pitching. They jumped
sure
on Noah,
are.
They jumped on Noah Syndergaard.
They jumped on Steven Strasburg. And Steven Strasburg and Max Scherzer earlier in the year, I do believe.
Yeah. Putting up runs, and that's big. And that's what the Astros were doing last year. You know, they actually hit good pitching, and that makes a big, big difference because you can get those guys out early, and then you can get to the bullpen, which we've seen that everybody has a flawed bullpen pretty much.
Right. So moving into the boxing space, we had some good boxing on HBO this past weekend. Danny Jacobs defeated Jacob Selinsky, I do believe his name was. Not Jacob Selinsky, Magic Selinsky. And you know what? Danny didn't look great.
No.
He didn't look great.
And that's the Triple G effect.
I wonder. That's what Abel Sanchez said. Abel Sanchez said nobody's the same after they fight his guy.
And it looks like it.
And it looks like it's true. But Danny did look great in his fight immediately after fighting Gennady. It wasn't like this was his first fight. I think that what happened, he got hit with punches that if Selinsky had any pop,
would have put him to sleep.
He got hit with punches that he didn't see.
On his chin.
On his chin.
And Selinsky is
a
soft tosser.
Yeah, he's a soft. He just got the pillow hands.
Yeah.
Because he actually was technically really sound.
Yeah, he looked good.
He looked good. I didn't think the fight was as spread as they thought.
No.
Like those 118, 110 cards or whatever.
Especially after the knockdown.
No. What do you mean? He knocked Selinsky down.
Yeah.
And they had the cards at 118,
okay, my bad.
But I think, dude, I didn't think it was as wide of a victory. He definitely won. And I like Danny a lot. I still think that I would love to see Danny against Charlo. I wish they could put together a Super 6 or a Super 5 or whatever it is with Gennady, Canelo, Danny, Charlo, and one other player to be named later.
I don't even need a Super 6. I just need everybody to be able to fight whoever the fans want to see. Yeah, I need
That Charlo Jacobs fight is who the two people want to see.
Yeah, and give it to us.
Yep.
You got to give the people
and
what
they
they want.
we already covered that.
We already covered that. Come on.
Yeah, they both say they're both chirping like it's go time.
Yeah, and see, so we end up setting up these Super 6s and everything else, and that's just another new promotion or term that they'll coin that we'll buy into instead of just letting these guys fight forever, whoever's in their way to get what they want, which is the belt.
In Showtime's defense, when they put together the Super 6, that was actually a way of them bridging all of the stables, and it worked because out of that we got Andre Ward, we got I think it was Carl Frock, we got there was some good talent. They got the Darrells,
Glenn,
yeah.
But we haven't seen anything since that, so that's why
we haven't seen anything like that since that.
So that's why we take that off the table, and then just make a concentrated, focused effort to let these guys fight whoever they want to fight, or even if you pretend that you want to fight somebody, like we're hearing out there nowadays.
Right, we hear a lot of that fake fighting, which Eddie Hearn just came out, speaking of which, and pegged the Joshua Wilder fight at a 70% chance of happening.
Wow.
Yeah, he just came out and said that, which I thought was very interesting given what he's been saying about, Wilder offering fake, man, that's not a real contract. It's this, that, blah, blah, blah. I can't say I'm not involved with it, but I just want to see these two big boys get in the ring. I know that much. And there was a big boy who fought on Saturday night in Jarrell Miller, Big Baby, and he fought Duplass. And you know what? Again, he got hit too much.
I wasn't impressed.
He got hit too much.
He got hit, and if you go against either one of those guys we're talking about, Wilder,
you get hit like that, you ain't gonna keep getting hit like that.
Well, one of the problems that I had with him more so than anything is the guy that weighs 300 pounds needs to have more thump than that.
That's what because he hit Duplass.
You look devastated.
He hit.
That's what I'm saying.
Because he hit Duplass hard.
He did. Obviously, he didn't.
Hard.
Obviously, he didn't. They
I
said it
don't
took
know,
Wilder a long time to
bring him down, too.
11 rounds.
Yeah, he's a tough guy.
But he brought him down.
So he's going to get you eventually.
So if he brings you down, then the next fight, especially with Jarrell hitting him as many times as he
in
did.
The chin. And you know what I did see?
Uppercuts and everything. Punches that he didn't see
I was just about to say, you know what I did see, just as overall last weekend, because there were smaller guys fighting too, the body work is back.
I like the body work, but the judges seem like they don't understand the body work.
The judges don't give love for the body work. Yeah, I am. Come on.
Knock it off.
I don't understand. Give points for the body work.
The body work is real.
It's
but this is what's
Jarrell worked the body well.
Yeah, but this is what's going to be his downfall as well because his body is not together.
Yeah, he's got to
tighten it up.
He touts being 300 and eating cheeseburgers.
It'll hurt you against the real ones.
And I think his next fight is going to be against one of the real ones.
Yeah.
Because that was a Matchroom Boxing match on HBO, and Eddie Hearn was there in the crowd.
Yeah, and they were saying that he actually might fight Joshua. I would let him fight Wilder. Why would I take him back? Put him in.
Well, once again, you got HBO versus Showtime.
Yeah.
You got the same, you got the same confusion that is ruining boxing.
Right.
And then on Premiere. Sorry.
No, I would just like to see a real sanctioning body instead of all
one.
One instead of all these WCs, IBOs, IBFs, WBOs, PCPs, everything else,
You taste that? Angel dust. PCP sanctioning bodies, folks. Superhuman strength. Everybody's high. So
and strong.
Yeah, so you can you have that.
So we can, as the fans, can actually see the fights that we want to see.
Yeah. Yep, you have that, and Jose Cito Lopez over on ESPN acted like he wanted to make a comeback. I hate seeing guys. I love seeing guys coming back. He beat Miguel Cruz, but I also hate seeing guys that seem like they could get hurt at any point.
Right.
I mean, he's been around for a while. He did dominate this fight, and also more great body work. I just saw great body work all over the weekend. I love that. And then I saw. The home team, the homie Anthony Durrell got him a dub.
Yeah.
And I also like to see the fact that he's ready to wrap his up for his career and he wants to go out on a title fight.
And he deserves one.
He does deserve one. And I hope that somebody out there who has a belt will take a chance on giving him a shot.
That would be great to see. And it's just hard because of these stable issues.
It is really hard.
And it's marketability. And it's not about the fight game. It gets away from the fight game and who can sell tickets.
Right.
So then we end up with the ABs and everybody else who's selling the shuck and jive and everything instead of actually selling us a real fight.
Oh my
you know what I'm saying? So then we need to see a real fight. Like
hey, that's a good point because honestly, Broner may be able to ditch some of the buffoonery if he actually was just fighting people that he was supposed to fight.
Right.
Because either his career would be over quicker or he would rise to the challenge.
Right. But now
his talent would be on display.
Exactly. But now it hurts us because everybody's trying to sell us something instead of selling their actual talent. They're trying to sell us a brand.
Wow. Preach, brother. Preach. Tomorrow night at the StubHub, as aforementioned, with Victim in Carson, California, on a beautiful night it's going to be. We got the champ, Gennady Golovkin, facing his fill-in opponent for Canelo Alvarez, a fellow Angelino, Vanis Monterosian. He took the fight on short notice. It's hard enough to train for Triple G when you have a full camp and that's your only focus. I don't expect the fight to go long, but I think it's smart of Gennady to stay in tune to work and to get the rush of the crowd and the whole song and dance.
It's a dangerous fight to me. I mean, you always have the potential to lose, but then one of my problems is that I feel bad for Gennady is because he's probably going to have to give up one of his belts, and you know how he feels about his belts personally.
He loves his
belts, and but he's going to have to give up one if he doesn't take this mandatory after this fight. You know what I'm saying? Because he's supposed to fight. He wants to fight Canelo,
right? But he's supposed to fight somebody for the IBF.
Yes, and
it might be Danny. As a matter of fact, Danny. I think Danny's is mandatory now.
No. It's this guy that's 10 and 12 and 0 that has 10 knockouts.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's the IBF belt.
I do believe it's the IBF
okay.
belt, and it's just unfortunate. And now he's going to turn it down, and I'm sure everybody's going to be, oh, he's ducking him, of course. But
he wants to go pick up his $30 million with Canelo, and he also wants to knock Canelo out first and foremost. There's that. And honestly, the fight that nobody's really talking about that I do want to watch a lot is going to come on at like 9 or 10 in the morning. It's over in the UK, man.
Who is it, mate?
It's a rematch of Tony Bellew and David Haye.
Oh, wow.
And Tony Bellew is a cruiserweight who's moved up to fight in the heavyweights. And I actually really respect Tony Bellew because every time I see him, every time I see him online or whatever, he's always a respectful guy. Mm-hmm. And also, even then, they were talking about, so do you want to continue with the heavyweights? He was like, Josh was coming in 255, man. He's too big for me. Just really honest, really cool dude. And honestly, he fought with honor. There was a couple times in the fight, I think in the last fight, David Haye hurt his knee, and it twisted and looked really, really ugly, like dislocated his knee. And yet there was a point in the fight when Bellew tried to extend a hand to, because there was a clinch or something like that, and David Haye tried to sucker punch him. And that's part of when his knee started to give him problems.
Wow.
It was, and there's some bad blood there, and I'm very interested to see what happens with the Brits. I like to see the UK has their boxing game together.
So who you going for?
I'm going for Tony Bellew.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going for Tony Bellew in another win on that rematch to get his money and get his. I don't know if he's got a belt there or not, but I'm excited for that. That fight comes on early, folks, so be prepared for that because it's in the UK. And then we had a little controversy with an OZone contributor. Our own Ellie Seckbach of ES News got into a little funk with Ronda Rousey and her camp while covering the Triple G fight media day. You can hear a couple clips about what Chris Cyborg had to say about it with Ronda Rousey, and also then about what Chrissy Martin had to say, somewhat in defense of Ellie, but more in criticism about how Ronda treats everyone. Let's check these out.
Tune-up. What do you think about that? And
I think Ronda Rousey, we'll see if it happens. And I would give anything if I were 10 years younger just to show her. I mean, are you kidding me? Holly Holmes knocks you out. Holly Holmes punches like a feather. Ronda Rousey to me is the worst public female image that we could ever have out there.
Why is that?
Simply because she cannot sit here and have an interview with you without cursing word after word after word. I mean, come on. We're out here to set an example for women, young girls, people in general.
Now, that was a clip from Chrissy Martin before Amanda Nunes knocked her out. And Chrissy Martin is, other than Layla Ali, probably the best known women's fighter, of all time. And here's a clip from Cyborg.
But I'm still talking. But Chris, one fight we all wanted to see, which we'll never see, you and Ronda. She was talking, her coach was talking, they want it. Now she changed the sport.
How you doing, bud?
What would have happened if you and Ronda fought?
Nice to meet you.
Do you know, when I fought Holly Holm, I was telling if I beat Holly Holm, I beat them 2 times. I'm going to beat both the same night because Holly beat Ronda and I beat Holly. I don't have the opportunity to fight Ronda, but she, God don't give the opportunity for me to fight her, but, some other girls beat her, like Amanda Nunes and Holly Holm, and they just sit down and watch her, and I have touched her for she losing.
If Ronda was right here standing where I am, what would you tell her?
I think I don't need to tell anything for her. I think life teach her a lot of things. I think a lot of things happen in her life and her career. I hope she's learned something from that and, be humble, and respect people. I think this is the most important.
Do you think?
And let's hear what Ellie has to say about what happened, how he ended up in a beef with Ronda Rousey.
Oh.
Ellie Seckbach reporting.
Hey, Ellie.
What up, Seckbach? How you feeling?
Good. We're here at the weigh-ins. They're just over. Vaness made weight. Triple G made weight.
Nice. How's the atmosphere down there on this beautiful, sunny Southern California day?
It was pumped up. A lot of fans showed up. A lot of energy. A lot of excitement.
You know what? Gennadi's been really good to the fans here in Los Angeles, and they really have reciprocated. So
Absolutely.
I'm happy to hear that. But what I want to talk about is your Rumble. I just played a couple clips from ES News, one from Chrissy Martin before Holly Holmes' last fight against Amanda Nunes when she got knocked out, and one from Chris Cyborg just saying that Ronda should work on being humble. Now, I've seen Ronda popping up at gyms and giving speeches about how to deal with adversity, and there's some interesting comments beneath those pictures from people who have, a variety of opinions on that. But how did this whole thing spark with you, and what happened? I mean, all of a sudden I read you're getting kicked out of gyms. I was like, Ellie? What? This man is the fighter's fighter. He's the fighter's reporter. What's going on here?
Okay, so I show up to a gym for Vanes and Triple G, 2 boxers. I was invited there. It happened to be Ronda's gym. A couple years ago, I wrote that she's saying nonsense for saying she can knock out Floyd. And obviously it was proven that way when she gets knocked out by 2 women, obviously not hitting hard, but not as big as Floyd. But I guess someone at that gym held a grudge. I went live on my phone. Possibly she saw the live feed. Make a long story short, they asked me to leave, but they could have asked me nicely, but they had to record it and put it on their IG, which kind of started a firestorm, and it backfired because a video that I posted on Yes News had almost 200,000 views, thousands of comments, thousands of phone calls, emails, text messages, very supportive, ripping Ronda. So if they would have not done this, she would do the WWE, she has a movie coming out, and everything would be quiet and peaceful. But it just turned on them, and so it became very very hateful for them. And it is what it is. So I'm having fun. I'm laughing. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it. You got to smile. Listen, if you're not rattling cages, then
what are you doing? Then what are you doing?
Your job. Yep.
You're a reporter. You're a journalist. You're a boxing journalist. You get down deep into the guts of boxing, and you know what? There's no way to do that impartially and for people to be upset about their truth coming out. That's just par for the course. It is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, it's fun. We all know Ronda got exposed. It's not my fault she lost. It's not my fault she got knocked out.
It's not your fault.
But she's still salty and bitter, and she's still acting like she's undefeated. Eventually, she'll come with terms, and it's okay. Nobody wants to be in the eye of the storm. Nobody wants to be kicked out. Nobody looks for drama. But if it happens, you got to run with it.
What can you do?
We're in the area. We live in the era of social media, of reality shows, of shock value videos. So, okay, if I'm in it, might as well enjoy it and grow from it.
No doubt. And then on top of that, you get instant feedback. So you get to see a lot of people, and like you said in the comments, a lot of people are not responding favorably to that whole outburst. And, she's already blown up. She's in the WWE. She's got a movie going on. She's moved on. But she's holding grudges, and that actually seems like that's going to hurt her in the long run. Meanwhile, how do you feel about the state of boxing? We just covered our coverage from last weekend's fights. We didn't think Danny Jacobs looked great, but we would like to see him face Charlo. I always actually wanted to see him fight Canelo, to be honest. I love the fact that Gennady came out and said, they asked him about Canelo yesterday, and he said, you know what? Canelo is the biggest problem in the sport. He goes, there's a lot of good opponents out there, and Canelo's not the only one. So we're going to weigh our options after this fight, figure out what's what. Also, we got your man, and this is what I really want to speak about. You got your man fighting next weekend. I know that you love Vasily Lomachenko, and I happen to love Jorge Linares, and they're fighting at 135. Are you going out to Madison Square Garden in New York City? Would you be ringside to fight?
I will be ringside. We'll go out there. I've been following Lomachenko from day one. He's a great fighter. He's a great person. A lot of people consider him the best pound for pound. He's very, very talented. And for him, boxing is a sport. It's an art. It's not going in there to knock people out.
It shows.
He wants to outbox you, and he wants to make you quit. And he's just a phenomenal athlete. He did judo. He did gymnastics. He did dancing. He did all kinds of things that fit into his boxing. He's he's way advanced when it comes to things like that, which fighters right now, if they're 7 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, get in a boxing gym and just do that. But he did all these other activities. The judo helps with the clinches. The dancing helps with the foot movement. The gymnastics help with the flexibility. So in his case, everything fell into place. 2 gold medals shows it. 11 pro fights, going for his 3rd pro championship title. It's huge. And look, he's coming into it. He's adjusting to everything. I think he's doing everything right. He's very polite. He follows social media. He's growing. We'll see. But Linares is a tough test.
Linares is a tough character. I think it's going to be his toughest test, to be honest. To date.
It is. And I agree with you on that because he's tall, Linares. He's a champion. He's confident. He has nothing to lose. And those are the dangerous ones.
Proud.
And he's proud. And if he takes out Lomachenko, it makes his career. So
sure does.
Lomachenko could always go back to 130. He's still a champion, but he wants to make history. For him, it's about history. And look, he does a lot of things with juggling. and think that people don't understand. They ridicule him. But I'm telling you, I try to do some of the things he does. It's so difficult. You can't.
Yeah, because it kind of looks silly, but you know what? It's a little bit of wax on, wax off going on there. There's a little Mr. Miyagi in it, where a lot of the other things are connecting motor neurons that help him in the ring. Because I have to say, I felt like his sample size is pretty small, but he keeps showing improving. He's slowly making me a believer, and his footwork is phenomenal.
It is.
I mean, some of the best in all the sports. I tell you, he'd be a nightmare on the basketball court. He's got great footwork.
That is very true. So there you have it.
Other than the fact he's like 5'6".
Yeah, but look, it's great for boxing to have someone that excites people, and it takes time. And here's Don King, the one and only.
Oh, there you go, live with Don King. Go ahead, I know that you're working, brother. Thanks for calling in. We just wanted to let you give you your piece and clear the air. We'll see you at the fights tomorrow and also next weekend. Thank you, Ellie.
Thank you so much. Always the OZone. Thank you.
Peace.
Reporting. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Rafael Nadal is still doing Rafael Nadal-esque things, and he's trying to do something crazy, which is to win Monaco, Rome, and Madrid, all in the clay court season in the same year, and then win the French Open. If he does this, man, this guy, I mean, obviously, I've made it very known that Pete Sampras was my favorite. Now we're looking at Roger Federer. I have to acknowledge as the greatest tennis player of all time. It's not even... You're playing yourself if you act like that's not the case. But if Nadal can pull this thing off, he's already the greatest clay court player ever. But if he can pull off this, like, it's the quintfecta and win all of these tournaments in a row like this, I'll be so impressed. So, Rafa, impress me. I know that's your career goal, is to make sure that I'm impressed. And finally, on a little news and notes, looks like Hulk Hogan is coming back to the Hulk Hogan's coming back to the WWE. He's getting back to the squared circle. Randy Piper. I mean, I'm amazed by Hulk Hogan's body's durability. I don't know what he's going to do, but he's back in there.
Hopefully he won't do too much because he's been taking he took a beating.
He took a beating. And also, he's trying to revive his image to make sure that people know that he's not a racist and so on and so forth. And supposedly that's why the WWE is giving him another shot.
Really?
Yeah, that's it. They said they've been watching the work that he's been doing with the Boys and Girls Club, and it seems to matter to him personally. It has a
everybody makes mistakes.
That's what they're going for. And I mean, I think he had a hard time with his daughter, perhaps being the recipient of some intimacy of the African American variety, and he voiced that very clearly. And it's going to be interesting to see what Hulk's third act is about in his life. I know I liked watching him on that Andre the Giant documentary.
Yeah,
man, oh man,
he really got emotional.
Oh man. He loved the Giant.
He loved the Giant. The Giant loved him.
The Giant loved him.
Yeah.
Slam! Leg drop!
Gave it to him.
Did.
Hulk wanted to cry in the ring, probably.
Oh, he did. He's like, oh, brother. Slam, brother! Leg drop? Come on. You're awesome. That's probably the original You're Awesome. You got anything else to cover?
That's it. You've covered it.
We covered it up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Ozone. I'm your host, Omar Miller, and I want to leave you with an African proverb. Until the lion has his own storyteller, the hunter will always have the best stories. Take care of each other, ladies and gentlemen. We're in this thing together. I'm here with my brother, the Icons.
Ozone.
I'm just living the dream. I'm in love with the lights.